today's tutorial, I'm going to show you a method for generating color variation. The shader that we've made for our tree is really nice if we only have one tree, but if we have a forest like this one, and we look at the trees, all the trees are exactly the same color, and that's a bit of a problem. If you take a look at these reference images taken in the Great Smoky Mountains, you can see that every tree has slightly different color applied to it. So what I want to do today is take you through the process of creating a function that will allow us to make every tree a slightly different color. Alright, so let's jump right into it. So the method that we're going to be using today is we're going to use this texture that I created that's just a bunch of green and yellow and orange noise. And if you want to take a quick look, the exact configuration of this texture is not super important, but I do want to show you just briefly that I created it in Substance Designer with just a bunch of different procedural noise and using gradient maps to blend colors together and end up with kind of a noisy green, yellow, orangey texture like this. And what we're going to do with this texture is we're going to project it in world space from the top down, and then each tree is going to sample a slightly different pixel in the texture. And then we're going to combine the color that we already have in the tree with the color from this texture so that each tree will be a slightly different color. So I've already built this function, and here it is. And I'm going to take you through this function one node at a time so that everybody can understand exactly how this works. So here's that green and orange and yellow noise texture. And we're creating the UV coordinates for that texture with this set of nodes here. So first of all, we take the position of the object. This is the position of the tree itself, not the pixel that we're currently rendering, but the whole tree. And we just mask off the R and the G. So these are the top-down coordinates, the X and the Y. And then we're dividing that by 1,000, which means our texture is stretched across a distance of about 10 meters. So our texture is really low res, so all of these pixels are fitting in the space of 10 meters. And then we also take the pixel positions, the red and green of those, and we multiply that by 0.05, and then we add that together. Now this portion of the shader here is completely optional. This will give a single color for each tree, but this part of the shader will give you a little bit of color variation across each tree, and I'll show you what that looks like. First, I'm just going to wire this object position RG directly into my divide, and we'll take a look at what this looks like first, and then I'll show it to you what it looks like with the little bit of color variation that we get from adding the pixel offset data as well. So once we sample our noise texture, here is where we're combining it with the color of the tree. So this is the incoming diffuse color of the tree. And then I do a dot product with that value with 0.005. And what that does is it gives me a grayscale version of this incoming color. So I've converted my incoming color to grayscale, and then I multiply it by my noise texture, and then I multiply the result by 2. This first multiply is going to darken the values, and so I need to boost them back up by multiplying by 2. And this method of color blending is often called multiply 2x, because you multiply the value and then you multiply by 2. The first multiply darkens and then the second multiply brightens. Now this lerp here at the end is blending between my original tree color and my tinted tree color. And what this allows me to do is to control how much of each of those two colors are blending together. If I pass in a 0 for this lerp, I'm going to be giving 100% of the original color. But if I pass in a 1, I'm going to be giving 100% of the tinted color. So how do I control this lerp? Well, this value coming in is a mask for the leaves, so I'm able to just tint the leaves and not the branches. And then this constant value here, 0.5, gives me a control to control the percentage, or to tell it how much of this new color I want to apply. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken this function and I've applied it to a simple test shader, just like this. So here's my foliage color variation. So this shader is plugged in here and it's assigned to the base color. And then I've just given it a hard-coded value of like 0.05 and a hard-coded leaf mask value of 1. And so what we can do is I'm going to assign that temporary shader to this sphere, and then I'm going to show you how it works. So it's called Foliage Color Variation Test. And you can see right away when I assign it to the sphere, now the sphere is tinted slightly green. And the really nice thing about this is when I move this sphere around, you can see that it's shifting colors. Oh, there's something I forgot to do. We're going to save this. I want to show you first what it looks like when object position is used for the texture sample. And then the second thing that I'll show you is what it looks like when object position is added together with the pixel position. Okay, so like I said, when I move this sphere around, it changes colors. And that's because the position is what's determined, or what's used to sample that noise texture. And the texture is projected top down, so I can move this up and down all day and it's not going to change colors at all. But as I move it around on the X and the Y axes, it's going to shift to different colors. So now what I want to do is take this material function that I've created and add it to my foliage shader. So here's my foliage shader, and there is one thing that I want to point out that I changed from last week. I adjusted this leaf mask a little bit. So instead of subtracting 0.4, now it's subtracting 0.37. And instead of multiplying by 4, now it's multiplying by 10. The reason that I did this is because my leaves were getting a little bit of a black halo around them, and I wanted to adjust my mask just a little bit to get rid of that halo. Okay, so now we're going to add our foliage color variation function, and I happen to have it right up here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring it down in here, and I'm going to wire in my texture sample, my RGB, into the color in socket. And I'm also going to wire in my leaf mask here. And then the result of this, I'm going to wire into my translucent color and also into the base color on my root node. All right, and that's all there is to it. Now I've got my color variation working, and I'm going to go ahead and save it, and let's take a look at what our result is. All right, so I don't know if you can see it, but our tree has shifted color just slightly. And so now it's kind of a yellow minty green. Now, you'll really notice if I turn around here and take a look at my forest, now you can see that each individual tree is a slightly different color. I've got it toned down a little bit right now, but if I switch back to my variation and turn up the percentage here, then you'll really be able to see it. So I'm just going to set this to 100%. So it's going to use 100% of the noise texture that I'm sampling and not use any of the original color. And let's take a look at our result. All right, so now you can see I have some trees that are significantly more blue-green, some trees that are more yellow-green. And the really nice thing is, every time I place a tree, depending on the location of placement is what's going to determine that color variation that it gets. And you saw that with that percentage control, I can control how much of that color actually is applied to the tree. So if I really wanted to tone it down, I could make this like 0.15, or you know, if I want to really exaggerate it, I can set it to 100% like this. The problem with setting it to 100% though is if I zoom in here, you can see that all of these leaves are the color that I'm sampling from the noise texture, and it's not using any of the color of the original texture that I applied. And so I do want to keep that percentage just slightly below 1. So I think a good compromise is 0.5. Now the last thing that I want to show you is what it does when I blend, or when I go ahead and add the pixel position. So let's do that. Before I do that, I want to show you on the sphere again. If we move the sphere around, you can see that the color that's getting added to the sphere is always solid. There aren't any gradients here. But if I go ahead and wire in my pixel color, now what we're going to see is that there's a little bit of a gradient across the surface. It's not a lot because I'm multiplying that value by 0.05. Actually, let's take just a minute and I'm going to set this value to 1 just so you can see what it's doing. And then I'll reduce it back to 0.05 after I show that. Alright, so now you can see some of that noise texture that I created. Here's that noise texture, and it's projected onto the sphere, and as I move the sphere around you can see that it's kind of scrolling across the surface. So the position is determining what pixels in that noise texture are being applied. Now I don't actually want this much variation across the surface of my trees. If you take a look at the trees now, you can see there's all kinds of crazy modeliness, and I want the trees to be a little bit more uniform color than this. And so I'm going to go back to my function here, and instead of 1, I'm going to have a multiplier of 0.05, and that will spread out the position into a much larger space so that those texels are applied to a much larger area. So yeah, there we go. There's our final result. You can see that there's a slight gradient of color across each of the trees. And as I move my sphere around here, you can see that it's not a solid color, it's kind of a gradient color. That's the result that we're looking for. And you can see that each of my trees is a slightly different tint, and it creates a really nice kind of colorful variation of trees. It makes it so that not every tree is exactly the same. So just to kind of summarize, I can use this value here to control the scale of my object position. I can use this value here to control how much of the noise to apply. If it's 1, it's going to apply 100% of the noise. If it's 0, it's not going to apply any noise at all. My color comes in, it gets desaturated, and then multiply 2x by my noise sample. And then we blend between the original color and the noised up color based on this incoming mask that we've created. Alright, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more tutorials like this. And we'll see you next week, everybody. Thanks a lot.